Good evening, good evening, good evening. Brother Mark, can you hear me? If you can hear me, just signal me. Right. Welcome to the audience with the Lord Choloply. This is another edition, the Sunday edition. Today is the 28th of June, 2026. How? Time flies. Today in the house with me is my dear brother and friend, Mark 5 from Sweden. Well, we'll be having a great discussion tonight. We'll be looking at the opposition unity. What happened yesterday in Grand County, Sweden? Something that have gone pulled fear in the spine of Unity Party. We'll be looking at that. What is cooking the opposition? Are they going to come together? This is the big question that we have. If that happens, what's going on? Unity Party, are they scared? So we'll be having this conversation tonight. But before we take our short musical break to share the show, I want my dear brother to welcome our audience. And also, how are you doing, my dear brother? Today is Sunday. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, good evening, Brother Paul. And I'm doing good from Masters.com. And I want to say welcome to our audience, wherever you are. We hope you, had a wonderful weekend as we are about to join the next basic days in the weeks. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And it's Sunday. We want to say happy Sunday to our viewers. We're going to share the show while we take a quick break while we share the show and wait for our audience to come. We'll be discussing. What we're going to discuss tonight is quite interesting. Opposition unity. Is this what Liberians want? That is the question. These are the leaders. Are they the repeat of the CPP? This is the question. With the whole, every one of them are thinking, it's time to put Liberia first instead of our own greed. We'll be diving into this. And if this happens, will it be good for Liberia? So that is the discussion tonight. And in other discussion, we want to know what happened to the drug situation and the border issue under Joseph Numa Baka government. Who's behind the drugs? Have Baka and his government sold the land to Guinea? Those are the conversation for tonight. So if you join in over the very first time, kindly share the show. We'll take a musical break. When we come back, we're going to dive into this. So Takunje once said to us that he lied to us. So we're going to start this with Takunje music while we share the show.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber. Stop sleeping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know you're sleeping now. You gotta whip us some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people who us, the people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people who us, the people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not the vote. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to all our damages. We tired with their speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrates us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you screw us. You screw us. You use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the corrupt. I said, no one to trust. My people, no one to hope on.
Nobody.
My hope that I have been broken.
I'm telling you, brother.
So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric.
People tired, they tired.
You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then instead they delay. People suffer. No work for people crying for hunger.
Look at.
Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show.
Nothing.
So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the corrupt. We tired with their promises that left us to all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw it frustrate us. So why can you lie? Why can you steal? Why can you allow the citizens to breathe? You see, we just tell you that why we vote you. But you fool us. You screw us, you use us and little on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So I said they lie.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the audience with the Lord Choloply. Today, with me is my dear brother and friend, Mark Fire from Sweden. Mark, good evening and welcome to the audience of the Lord Choloply.
Once again, I want to say good evening and good evening to our audience.
Well, for those of you that are joining us, this is the audience with the Lord Choloply. We come from every Sunday to discuss issues pertaining everything. It could be Liberia, it could be international, but today our focus will be on what happened yesterday in Grangela County. Swedru, particularly opposition. There was a celebration yesterday, the 22nd anniversary for CDC political party being in existence. And they call on most of the opposition, major opposition in Liberia. And one of the opposition became the keynote speaker. And all of them were talking about opposition unity to unseat the current unity party that performing so badly. So that's why our conversation will be driving out tonight. We'll also be looking at the drugs issue in Liberia. While up to now, the big fish have not been arrested. Who should be blamed? And the third option tonight, discussion will be how President Barker government sold our land to Guinea. So we want you to chime in tonight. This is a discussion with the audience. This is what we want to know. We'll ask the hard question. Where other platform may not ask, we ask it on this show. Opposition, are they coming together to unseat Unity Party? Is this what putting the fear in the spine of Unity Party? Why are they jittering? This is the discussion tonight, and we want our audience to chime in. And also, if you join us for the first time, kindly click on the like button so we can recognize you wherever you're joining us from. Brother Mark, this topic is big. Opposition unity. It sounds big, and this is quite interesting. And Liberians are talking. Talk to me, my dear brother.
Yeah, indeed. This program was, it was timely and it's a very huge thing. Seeing leaders, within the echelon or the high authority of all political parties coming together and to celebrate the 22nd anniversary of the biggest political party in the country. Say what you want to say. CDC is the People's Party, and any political party that is formed based on the grassroots, that political party is a party to reckon with. So it was a huge thing for to see and then taken to the southeast, Grand Judah specifically. It was remarkable and history making.
It was remarkable and history making. So say, my dear brother. And I tend to agree with you. It was. Because look, I've never heard this in my entire life that two people that always fighting for something in the political arena to take your opponent to be the keynote speaker of your anniversary. That speaks volume. And the message from all of them that we have to unite. We have to put the best brains together for the sake of Liberians. Let's put our political ego aside. Let's bring brains together. Let's pick one person. Let's come up with good ideas. The country has suffered so badly. This is huge. Mark, this is huge. If this work, I think it will help us. It will help the country by not having 20 political parties during the election. It will cut down that number. And this will be a good thing for
I
Liberia.
mean,
Talk to
I
me,
mean,
my dear brother.
you couldn't have said it any much better or say it any much better because the idea of having 20 some more political parties contesting for the same position, but this particular, coming together and hearing from the horse's mouth, the heads of the different political parties, it makes sense since after the Liberian Civil War one political party cannot just secure the presidency. So you need a collaboration of other political parties. But however, how they hold on to the agreement and what kinds of agreement they put forward and how they live up to the promise or promises and to do the good work of the Liberian people that has never been fulfilled before. So they will go to these agreements, for example, Madame Salif, from the Madame Salif time to the George Weah and then to the same UP again. They have never hold on to the bargains of the discussion. But now what we saw in Grand Judah from the Simon Fremont, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Simon Fremont. I like Simon Fremont say what you want to say about him, but sometimes he says some things that are very reasonable. So his ideology and the way he see that Liberia should move forward on a one government, but he says something that a lot of Liberian people supposed to, a lot of Liberians supposed to be gravitating towards, that we all cannot be president at the same time. And if you have Liberia at heart, then this supposed to be, how do you call it, something that you're supposed to embrace, not just from an opposition perspective or from a ruling position perspective, or because it doesn't suit your narrative or your interest, so for that reason you are against it. So let me bring this in, for example, like in Western society, what we call coalition. And this is how coalition is formed. So because one party cannot just secure the presidency, then or the prime ministership, then they form coalition with other political parties that also have the same ambition, but they all cannot lead at the same time. But they bring something to the table in moving the country interest forward. So that is the main thing that I heard from Simon Freeman. And then two, coming to fight corruption, which we have heard before. But I want to see an institution that will come and fulfill that particular promise. Like you said, Joseph Barker, even though, I mean, he's an old person, but you cannot have men like Joseph Barker, that I would disagree with him, going to make farm in Lofakan, I mean, in Grangy, that he was just saying that, but that is also indirectly to people that, because the Constitution protect the presidency, I mean the president and the presidency. So, but other ministers, junior ministers, I mean senior minister, junior minister, and senior government official that are involved in corruption, those are the people that will go to that firm that he's talking about under a good government or under a unified government, for example, like what we are all just speculating now. But if they can come together after they grant you something and don't sell out and don't be bought easily by the current government and break this thing apart, like what they are starting, so that would be a good thing. And then from Musa Belete also, who spoke well, that we are, that was an indirect quote from Musa Belete, that there is something in the pipeline. If they are going to come together, they shouldn't just come together because they want to come together, but they should come together based on an ideology or a philosophy that will move this country, because this country is like an old wheelbarrow that doesn't have tires. And first of all, you need to put air in the tire before the wheelbarrow can sit. And then two, you start working on the other parts of the wheelbarrow or like an engine. So Musa Belete statement, even though it's a bit longer, if we try to go into the interpretation, and then coming to Mr. Cummings, I mean, which we are going to dive into later by later, segment by segment. And they all spoke well. I mean, presentation from the initial stage, yeah.
Okay, Brother Martin, can we recognize few persons here? Mohammed Formula Jr., welcome to the audience of the Lord Choloply. Mohammed Sekou Masalim, welcome to the audience. Ricky Flynn, welcome. And Cecilia Fremont, thank you all for joining. Kindly share the show. So, the opposition, and I love what you said about Simon Fremont. When he said that Joseph Barker, they will retire him, but Joseph Barker have not worked. So they will take him on a farm in Grand Jide so he can do some work, so he can learn when you work, how you work to get money for the work you do. But
money, yeah.
to get your own money, because Joseph Barker have always lived on Liberian government money for things that he have not done. So under Liberian government, he was able to write $10 million, build $10 million house for retirement home. Under Liberian government, he now run $1.5 million bulletproof car. But if you work hard for that kind of money, then you know how to spend it. But Joseph Barker have not worked hard for that money. So Freeman is telling us that they will take him to Grand Jide, where they will get him to do some farming, and then so he can understand how to work and earn. But then this, before I bring you back to Musa ability and will lead to Commies, in the 2023 election, Commies said something that the nation did not pay attention to. He said, I quote, the inner village, the oldest man in the village, somebody came said there's one colice to brush, and he took that colice, which we call machete, and gave it to the oldest man in the village to brush. That means the whole village will not eat. This is what Liberian did. They took the oldest man in the town and gave him a country to run. And now he using that because they gave him a country to run. People said because he had 40 years, 50 years experience in government, he was the most experienced person to bring change. But to our amaze, the old man is around $1.5 million bulletproof car. And he can rescue. So if that huge money go on vehicle alone, that is a problem on its own. So Simon Freeman is saying, no, saying that old man didn't work hard for the money, will bring him to Grand Jada, will retire him so he can do some cassava farm to see how it is to work. And that's the message that they want to retire him because he's the oldest man in the town and he cannot be brushing farm. That's why people are starving. And then Musa Bedete said something. From the CPP, we experienced something that because of greed, the good ideas that CPP brought the momentum, Omen Boyka, when he took over from the CPP, he killed it. So that incident, we don't want to repeat it this time. If we come together as opposition, we must pick the best to lead us, not just coming together to recognize somebody, say because this person had experience. And George, we are recognized the same thing. He's the former president. He said for us to move this country forward, there must be a unity. He's not putting himself forward. He said, let's rally around each other to move them. So George Weah is also considering that this group, we must pick the best to lead us. So this is big. If this happens, it's a good thing for Liberia. And that's what I want you to talk to before we dive into common speech, my dear brother.
Yeah, like all every one of them was saying almost the same thing about picking the best, right? And that is what destroyed the CPP, for example, because picking the best, the Unity Party kind of people like they were afraid of going to a convention and knowing that Alexander Cummings was the best option, but the Joseph Boakai factor of 40 some more years experience that had nothing to show for, that was a fear of defeat. So what is it that you're going to because at the convention, people going to campaign for their choice of Kennedy, and during that process, then you start to point towards accomplishment. And what are you going to show for Joseph Boakai accomplishment, for example? For example, you say he's an agriculturalist, but what farm does Joseph Boakai have that produces, for example, if he's into cassava or potato or yam or what you call banana and etc., kind of agricultural farming, what does he, how much quantity does he put to the Liberian market does he produce? So you cannot, what you call, go on such an argument. If you say Joseph Boakai, all the 12 years he been vice president for, which was the highest he went to doing his political career before becoming president, what did he do with the 1 some more million that his office was getting as a vice president? Did he put that into investment? And which area did he put that money into, for example, that you can show that he had like almost 100 or 200 people in employment? You cannot show that. If it comes to scholarship, you cannot show. You talk about the foundation, how many kids are benefiting from your foundation. So at the convention, these are things that people are going to point out to about accomplishment. So that fear was in the Unity Partisan that no, we cannot go to convention because we go to convention, first of all, we don't have the money to campaign on, to run the propaganda machine. And then two, Comey has the money and Comey has the accomplishment that people going to point to, and his strategian, they are very equipped to run that propaganda for Comey. So for that reason, they decided, the like of Benedict Euro today that you see coming out, they decided to destroy. And I like what Benedict Euro did, you understand? He's a man and he's bold enough to have apologized to Mr. Cummings about the wrong that he did, you understand? So then they decided to destroy, he and a Costa leg with a Dillon leg. Dillon fear got into Dillon and he went after Cummings because Dillon, during the CPP time, he, before being put under pressure, Dillon put something, he presented an argument that I always have in mind when it comes to someone waking up from bed, the president, somebody who respect time, who go to work on time, and who do the people job, and who is on top of the game, right? But
Yeah.
time came, Dillon felt pressure, and because of not having thick skin, some person from the ANC hierarchy made some statement that got Dillon angry, and because of one person, Dillon decided to destroy whatsoever how they call it, ambition and vision he had for the CPP, for which today the country, the entire, because say what you want to say about Dillon. Dillon is a moving force. The same thing with Yaka Kaloba.
But the thing with Dillon, it was Comey who told them to take the 30,000 back that he took from the Liberian people that were got him upset.
Yeah, that one of the things that got Dillon upset.
Yeah,
The
he stole from the
30,000
people.
and Comey statement, if you analyze it, he wasn't talking directly to Dillon. He was talking to the whole legislature.
Exactly.
But then Dillon got manipulated, the way some of the guys, the process issue, right? That there was the problem. A few time ago, Dillon got angry again about something that he not. So sometimes I come across these clips on the on the Facebook, and I watch these clips and I analyze them. And Dillon seems to be somebody. Once you criticize him, then he turn against you. You become his enemy instead of analyzing what Paul is criticizing me about. Yeah, that's how Dillon is. But back to the issue. So, like they all are saying that if we are coming together, we should come together for the interest of the Liberian people. But are they going to hold together? Are they going to put aside their egos to say, for example, if they come together, let us speak the best. Okay, President Weah have served. Okay, now President Weah has served during his administration. They should not be hypocrites or R7. They should look at where President Weah falls short during his administration. Because during the administration of President Weah, there were a lot of things, bad things that happened under President Weah. Okay, for example, corruption was under President Weah, even though the hardship compared to this Baka administration was not the same. But there were police brutality, people got killed, most especially 5 auditors got killed under the President Weah administration. That was never investigated. The police director was never fired. The NSA director was never fired. The National Security Advisor was never questioned as to how these 5 auditors, they die in the country. So that alone is a dark cloud that hangs over the president we have, his presidency. Then coming to this current administration too, to add on to that, the drugs, okay? The $100 million drugs during the President Weah administration, and the same as this $19 million drugs. So I'll combine both of them together, where the Justice Minister was never questioned. The National Security Director was never questioned. The Police Director was never questioned. How in the hell, okay? How in the hell drugs come into the country and leave the country, and no damn
But
motherfucker
then we,
was
we,
brought
we
in.
get a drug situation coming in. So I want you to hold on to that drugs, because if you talk
Okay,
about it
okay,
now,
okay.
then there's no point.
No,
So
I'm
one
still
thing,
going to expand on it when it comes to that, brother Paul.
yeah, so
Because
I want you to hold that bit,
you see
because
one thing.
that's a
Yeah,
crucial point right there.
I'm not going to go there. I still have that thought, and it will come about. You know, that one thing. You see, presidency is an institution, right? And that institution is to be protected and at the same time supposed to be loyal to its employee. But that institution is like relationship that is destroyed sometimes by family involvement. You understand? Like sisters, brothers doesn't like your wife, or they manipulate you, and then two, you destroy the relationship. And the same as you have people in the government, ministers in the government that doesn't respect the institution, and then to that institution destroy itself. So from the Madam Sirleaf to the George Ria to the Joseph Baka, they have brought disrespect to this institution, to the
Right,
presidency,
right.
and Liberian people are not even upset because the presidency is an institution. I can't remember the parliament. Yes, get 1 minute. The presidency is an institution, but a lot of people bring disrespect to the institution, and that is something that doesn't upset Liberian people to say, hey, this is our number one institution in the country. Even though the first branch of government is the number one, but the presidency is the one that drives the car. You understand? So if you don't respect our presidency, we're going to remove you even before election, because the behavior of these presidents have brought disgrace. Look at Liberia. Liberia is
So
everywhere on the internet.
yeah, so brother Mike,
Yeah.
let be fair to the we are government a little bit. They did a lot of bad things, and they also did a lot of good things. So when I just pick the bad thing and say it was the bad things that made the Liberian people to remove them from power. That's
Fair enough.
fairness. Yes. Because they were removed from power and they have learned that, oh, we made a mistake. And the mistake we made, it cost us dearly. And that's painful.
And
But
that
this,
and to add on, that is what one of the things that I love about the CDCN. I've always said this, that the CDCN, this grassroots party, has opened the eyes of the Liberian people. You know, I mean, say what you want to say about the CDCN. The stock president, we are a lesson. First of all, when you betray the movement and you understand the cause of the people, then at the end of the day, they're going to tell you that we brought you here and we can take you down. And that is what CDCN did to President Weah. Because had CDCN turned out in their numbers, trust me, Joseph Baka would not be sitting where he's at today to become president in Liberia. So I gave that to the CDCN to add on to what you are saying. And there was lot of good things that President Weah did. For example, one of the things I didn't like about President Weah is you leaving office and you extending concession agreement, for example,
so,
with the APM terminal.
but Mark, these are the
Yeah.
bad things that you talk about. So there's good thing and bad thing. Because if you look at what we are did, let's be fair on him. We remove him because he did bad things. You talk about the auditors. You talk about the police brutality. All the things you said about the Zoko were getting increase of the drug situation. We know all of that he could not handle it. At some point in time, because he could not handle the job, he started going to studios and start making music. We heard about it so-called condominium that he built, that people felt that it was betrayal. He did all that. Because of that, he was removed. But equally so, Weah did build some houses. He built roads. He brought a good thing. And some of the things that Weah did is today. That's where Unity Party that had no agenda is implementing. That's the good thing Weah did. So, but we are now looking at the 22nd anniversary of this CDC. Weah is now calling on the opposition to unite. That look, the level of which this country is going. President Barker have no tolerance. If you say hello, President Barker, you don't say or go hello, it will remove you. He done that with the tenure position. He done that with a sitting representative. He done that with a sitting speaker. So this guy disrespect the rule of law. And in his own thing, he have rule of law as number one. So these guys are saying that, well, and this one I'm going to lead also what Comey said yesterday is in his speech that I'm bringing this out in a way that these are the things you going after opposition leaders, especially those who serve unaware. Now, Cummings mentioned something in his speech that the Capitol building was burned. There were opposition leaders and then ruling parties leaders. But you talk all the ruling party leaders and you only talk with the opposition. That is not rule of law. So we are in others, most ability, Simon Freeman, they all recognize that look, this guy violated the rule of law and the level of which they are going. If we don't come together, this is the call for all of them. If we don't come together, it's not good for Liberia. So to retire Omer Boyka, we have to have this one unity. And we all putting our equal aside. And this is where we are seeing. Let me finish. This is where we are seeing. I served before as president, but we can rally around and pick the best. Musa ability is seeing the same thing. Coming the same. If I become the driver or the carber of this vehicle, I mean, we put the equal aside. Simon Freeman said the same thing. We put our equal aside. Only one person can become a president at a time. But for the sake of Mama Liberia, what is Liberia need? So the call for this is what we're looking at. What say you?
President Weah did a lot of good things, right?
Yeah.
And President Weah also was tolerant when it comes to having some assistant ministers and some government officials that were not from the CDC, and you have CDC complaining as to why X, Y, and Z are serving in his government. So he, government is not a one-party thing, and some of the smartest people in the country cannot come from your party. Some of the smartest people in the country can also come from the opposition. But all in all, after election, there is nothing like partisanship, but it's all about the country. Campaign is over right after election. You're talking about moving the country forward. And this is one of the things that I love about former President Obama. And then it go back to President Lincoln, which one of the best book I've ever read when it comes to opposition and forming a government of inclusion, the team of rivals, right? Then President Weah, like Mo Ali character, he had Mo Ali at the finance ministry, which was from the UP. At the same time, Mo Ali was criticizing, but President Weah kept it on. And other government officials, President Weah kept it on. And other people that were in key position, President Weah kept it on. Those were some of the good things of the CDC government. It was a lot, and it was his first time becoming president or going to that position. I mean, how do you call it? To that position as a politician. But then there's a video of, I tried to send you the video, but for some reason I can't find it, from this guy who's at the LBS talking about the unity, because exactly what you said, talking about the unity partisan, right? That are going after people in government that are not unity partisan, but why is it that there are some government institutions, even though these people, they are performing. Okay, say what you want to say about Fagon, but look at what Fagon has brought to They are BS. You understand? So you can't go after people like that because they are not partisan. They could be some of the best brain in the country. But then come back to what you said about President Weah. What I missed in President Weah's statement, you see, sometimes it's difficult with Liberian people if you bring honesty. I expected some sort of I don't know if the right word to say that I made some mistake. Yeah, I expected that in President Weah. I mean, his 20 some more minutes telephone address to the 22nd anniversary of his movement, that there were some mistakes made during my presidency, and it was my first time, and the work, it was a lot, and I regret some of the mistakes, and we should try to heal and move on and move the country forward. So as we come together to celebrate this occasion, these were some of the remarks that that I missed in his address. So yeah, Brother Paul, you are muted.
Okay, okay, Brother Mike, that's fine. So, to our viewers that are joining us, this is the audience with the Lord Choloply, and we're on the bottom line discussion. We comes on every Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Tuesday is the bottom line discussion live with the full team, and on Friday the same. On Saturday is the story with our dear brother Francis Mensa, and then on Sunday, this is the audience with the Lord Philip, the friend of King Charles. Tonight we are discussing the opposition unity. What happened in Sweden yesterday is quite interesting. Is there going to be a one-shot thing to remove Unity Party from the seat? And we have not heard this before, that your opponent who ran against you twice, to invite your opponents to be the keynote speaker. So we are now, if you join us for the first time, just give a thumbs up so we can recognize you. We're going to dive into Mr. Cummings' speech yesterday. Mark, you listen to Mr. Cummings, you listen to what he said. He also waiting to put himself forward to be the driver or a cowboy, depend on the unity for the sake of Liberia. What say you?
I mean, that was the best of all the political leaders. That was the best thing I heard. Even though the other political leaders, they also, their, suggestions should be taken with, I mean, wholeheartedly. But Mr. Cummins's remark and suggestion, had me, it had the United Partisan, for example, like Anthony Cassidy. I saw his post, and I'm like, seriously, Anthony Cassidy, this coming from you? I mean, it tell you that, okay, why are people concerned about what 1% says? Why is it that 1%, when 1% talk, then the whole nation is shake, okay? The whole, both opposition and ruling position. Why is it that when 1% talk, you understand? Then it move, how they call it, a mountain. So Mr. Cummings coming out to say that if I become a driver or a passenger or
Cowboy.
a cowboy on this particular train, I am okay once the train is clean and is moving in the right direction. I don't mind. That's what got Unity Partisan upset. And some people within the CDC, they are not happy about the statement because with the ideology being put forward. And this is where the problem lies. If they are going to hold on, you understand, regardless if you become the chosen one to drive this car, and other people and other leaders are on this car, and from the left, the right, the front at the same time, they are protecting this car as to where the car is going with the passengers on board, that everybody will arrive safely at their, how they call this, area of destiny. Then we are all on board. So Mr. Cummings' suggestion it was the best part of the whole thing. That and it got people talking across the country.
Right. So let me address this situation with the 1%. Because we know that 1% is a bogus 1%, although people use it to run propaganda. Have you
I
heard of this guy
know.
called Appleton, the man that never campaigned?
You
Think
tell
on
me
it.
about it.
Appleton never campaigned, but Appleton got more than 4%. And we know that vote, where it went.
Where is Appleton now?
His
Can Appleton
ambassador,
can Appleton speak to the issues now in Liberia and
no,
move Liberia?
he's
No.
ambassador of Liberia in Japan. So how can he speak? No, so the thing is, this quite interesting. And to our audience, we want you to chime in on this one. The quotation and all the things that they said, that at the end of the day, they want to retire Becker. Cummings said it in the end of his speech, because his speech, they gave a long rating that the old man and the vice president said it, that the old man is tired, he's old, and his father was at that same age when his father was wearing pampers. So in a nutshell, the work is too big for the old man. You need somebody with energy, energetic person to run the country. Not somebody, we already know that President Barker, he's not well because he got pacemaker. And those things, you heading a country, you take everybody problem on your head. It's not good for your heart. So he need to rest. He need to spend time with his grandchildren. It's not a time that he run the country because the country going nowhere. Could you imagine? This is where Musa Ability and others are saying that the old man, he came to power, say rescue agenda, and he does not know how to rescue the country. Or they just govern the country in chaos because he does not know how to rescue the country. That's why when they started, it's like this. And then they came up with the thing that rules. They asked Mr. Cummings on an interview yesterday after the show. People were using things. He drove to Grand Jailer and the road was safe. So it happened that when the journalist asked the question, Samuel Tuer, the former finance minister, was standing on the side of Mr. Cummings. And Mr. Cummings said, oh yeah, we drove at some point because it's a dusty road. We got little thing, but we managed. But thanks Samuel Tuer for securing the fund for this road. So it was CDC that secured the money that this United Party today is running with, that they're doing roads. So they had an agenda that they don't know what to do. So Musa Ability said it. They don't have agenda. That's why the country is going up and down.
And this is childish politicking, right? Because a responsible, government or institution that inherit the presidency will know that government is continuation. So the mansion you're sitting in, that mansion was built by President Tubman. You did not build that mansion. The roads you are driving on were built by other presidents. You understand? So and then two, a country almost going to 200 years, approaching 200 years pretty soon, and to be talking about road condition, dusty condition, to be seeing a dusty road as an accomplishment, that should be embarrassing. It's not something that they should be using, because if people outside Liberia watch the video or watch the program and hear a ruling party want to dwell on that as an accomplishment, and they go into the history of Liberia, that this country is almost 200 years old, and this country is Africa oldest, and for them to be talking about how many kilometer road, a dusty road, and that is not even up to standard. That is something is shameful to talk about. And then two, The CDC in 5 years, they did enough when it comes to, these short rules and stuff in the country. But I won't praise any government when it comes to road issue until when all the roads in the country are paved. When I mean roads, I mean the community roads. I mean roads that connect county to county that will be able for people to move their agricultural product from one end to another.
Why should we praise them for things they are responsible to do? That's the fact. You are elected
I agree with you. You are elected to do the good work of the people,
yeah,
to serve the people.
That's it. You came to serve.
But sometimes praising your employee also motivate your employee. So yeah, but they are our employee, yeah.
But this is what you do. I'll take you back. The reason why they will not get praise is when we were little boys going to school, honored Samuel Doe. We heard of this thing, the Ganta Harper Highway project. That was big in our roads. 72nd today, it was Doe that built our road. There was roads. When Charles Taylor came, Charles Taylor built roads. Eddie Johnson came, she did roads. Weaki, he did roads. So apart from roads, 80% of the people are unemployed. We can't think that we can do something else. Let me bring you to Rwanda. This is what the opposition is saying. Rwanda, after the Civil War, they focus on two things, education and health. When the people are healthy and educated, the nation builds itself. You see the concept of Rwanda? Today now is the country that everybody looking at say, wow, how Paul Kagame managed. Because he taught on it. When the people learn and they're healthy, they can do a lot. In Liberia, it's the total opposite. Yeah, you bear roads, and the people not even educated on even the rules. You violate the rules of law. So I just laying this that we can. So as we deep down into comments, go on.
Yeah, you can dive into common stuff as I don't know how much time we got left, but you see, Liberian. This is what my problem is with a lot of Liberians. You have a man who barely traveled outside the country during the election or before the election. You can count 5 countries that Baka went to besides Henry Costa and Stanton. That's not me now. This is reality. The convicted criminal in America, I don't know when is he going to be sentenced, because I still try to follow why it said this guy is not yet sentenced. It's not which one. The man committed a crime and he was found guilty. So I don't know what kind of deal between he and the American government for which he are not going to prison. And when people try to ask questions, and he cannot talk about the case, but the case had already been decided that you were found guilty. But how many years were you found guilty, and what the consequence going to be? The consequence is not yet discussed. And then to have this guy influencing Liberian decision, and to have intelligent Liberian guys going on that program, honor a convicted criminal, for example, that gave people license. The same thing we're talking about the drugs issue. Okay, the same danger the drugs issue put on Liberian people that are killing Liberian young generation. That's the similar act to Stanton Waterspoon giving people certificate or certificating people that doesn't meet the standard and going to treat people, and some people going to die in that process. That's similar crime. But this person influenced Liberian people decision as to electing president. And this person was one of those who were transporting Joseph Baka here and there and helping to go get treatment for his heart. How many conferences did Joseph Baka attend out of the country? Business conferences. With all the 12 years he served, how many times they invited Joseph Baka to any international forum? That, a former Liberian president was invited to an international forum. Even like you see with President Weah being invited by FIFA, even though he has not been invited anywhere after he left the presidency. But I'm going somewhere. But here is somebody you have in the country if Liberian people been monitoring, and this is where now people in the ANC, Mr. Cummings traveling in and out of the country, is every year this man make more than 10 to 15 trips out of the country, business trips out of the country. And you're talking about 80% of the country being unemployed, and you have somebody who have the international connection and recognition to bring some investors in the country. There are a lot of things Liberia could be we could be doing in the country to increase our export and bring in more foreign cash and reduce our how they call it importation of things that we could produce on a Liberian how they call it market.
Right. Okay. So I think I want to the speech was good and what all they are saying, and I think is also good for the country. And this is what we think it should happen. And if they all calling for it be a good thing for Liberia. I think it should happen. And I like where Musa Ability said that let not us come together to just remove a president. We must come together and put our ideas. Let's do a brainstorming. What Liberia is lacking, we need to find a solution to help the nation, to drive the nation forward. And to be able to do that, we must put the best among us to lead us
because
into that.
you have a generation that is between the age of 18 to 40 years old, 45, that are skillsless. You understand? So, for example, you could put more money into vocational schools that will have more Liberian, for example, like in the carpentry, mechanic area, and agriculture, and how they call it, housing, what you call, what's the term again, to do construction in the construction area. These are areas that vocational school. So these are areas that you could put more money in. Everybody cannot be, how they call it, you got more doctor degree in a small country than other countries can combine. You got more master degree holders in Liberia than a lot of countries around West Africa that are doing better. And in the whole of West Africa, I can say that Liberia is the least in the whole of West Africa when it comes to infrastructure development. That I can tell you for sure. How much do we put into our infrastructure annually compared to how much that is going into the pockets of politicians? So the money is just one way, Brother Paul. So for that reason, you have 80% of the population unemployed.
Right. We have 80% unemployed. So the opposition have recognized this, that, hey, Honor Joseph Barker, who came to rescue, the country is not rescued. There are a lot of stealing going on. That's what the opposition said, not me saying it. And based on that, Seymour Freeman said that after Barker leave office, maybe they will change something in the constitution to be able to arrest him and take him to grand jail for him to do farming.
And don't forget what Kabina Jana said also, which is one of the important.
That's the rule of law.
Yeah. But besides that, he talked about the 500,000 Liberians in the diaspora, right? That have no voting right, that are compelled. If they want to vote, they must go back to Liberia before they can vote, which is also a bad thing, because these 500,000 Liberians that you have in diaspora, these are people with intellectual property capability that can contribute. There's this finance minister. She's one of my former, one of my famous finance minister from the continent, and become vice president, I think, at the World Bank, Madam Ngozi, when Nigeria was owing the 17 billion, and serving this loan every year, almost like 250 million to 500 million dollar interest rate. I mean, interest at the end of the almost for 20 some more years. And go see in 3 years' time, she told the World Bank that she was going to pay this money, and they kind of opposed. And she paid that money, and Nigeria was debt free. And then too, they took her from there. They decided, I don't know why, Obasanjo, but I watched one of her conference. She talked about the people in the diaspora, and if African government know the importance, what they have in the diaspora, they will learn to build some kind of a bridge between the people in the diaspora and them, and these people, the knowledge, be it a sweeper in the diaspora. You cannot compare that person to someone who is cleaning back home. That person has vast knowledge as to become a good cleaner or training people to becoming a good cleaner in their in the country back home or their country back home than the one that are doing the job back there. I'm not saying this to press people down. So when he talk about and these politicians that went to that program yesterday, none of them even follow up on that. So Musa Bidete, he traveled, how do you call it, coming to America, but he has not come to Europe, for example, to meet people in CMC. And Mr. Comey is the only Liberian politician. The
No,
only Liberian
Musa
politician.
Bilete was in London some time ago. Yeah, he was here, and I think he was in mainland Europe sometime this year. So he been here
Yeah, but was it for the CMC?
for the CMC. Yes.
Okay.
So
I think I heard about London, but not anywhere else
yes,
in Europe. So, but Mr. Cumming has been the only Liberian politician besides America visiting Europe constantly and in touch with the Liberian community in Europe, most especially Germany. He been to the UK before, which is I think somewhere in London, the London area. He been there. He engaged with Liberian, and he's not only focusing on America alone. Mr. Cummings know that there are some smart Liberians that live in Europe, but other past presidents they only focus on America, on America, on America. So the thing with the 80% being unemployed because you have people that come to the presidency that don't even know what to do. Brother Paul, that's where the problem is, that are not engaging other international partners to say, look, I have this at home that I can export to your country, and you're getting from this country for this amount. And this is where the foreign minister have to be busy.
brother Mark,
Yeah.
they're not performing. And you telling them what to say. Opposition recognize that, say we have to remove them and put the best people to get this thing done. They're not
But
performing.
Musa Belete is saying that not to just come together to move people,
Yeah.
and this is what I'm contributing to.
But
So
the thing
if
is,
you guys
if
are
you look
coming
at it,
together, yeah.
What they're saying, they're not performing. And
So
what
let's
need?
Yeah,
You see
let's
the
say
president-
let's say after there's something they decide to come together to say, okay, let us form a coalition. Who inherit the foreign ministry, and why should we give the foreign ministry to you? And what you're going to bring to the table if you get the foreign ministry?
But this is what they say.
The same thing with the same thing with the final. No, but Musa is saying something, but we are diving into the topic now, right? We are
We've been diving into the topic for a while now. So this
we have to go in depth. We have to explain the intention, the interpretation. Because if you
Musa Bilete make it simple. We're not removing you just for removing sake. To be able to remove you, we must come together and pick the best of the best among all to serve the people, not even the executive, but he lay out the representative, the senators. We must pick the best. So when we go in a house, they make the best decision for the people. So he lay it out that only we're not removing you, but we're bringing the best in the community to be our representative. We're not just going to pick somebody who don't even understand legislature function to put them. So we must pick. We must break that's what he's saying.
Yeah, but Musa's statement alone, yeah. Anyway, you have a different picture of it. and I have a different picture, and that's the beauty of argumentation, right? So I am expanding the Musa, how they call it, ideology to also the what you call the executive branch, because you can have the smartest legislators in the country or the smartest what you call for example legislature for that particular moment. But if the first branch of government, I mean the how they call the executive branch of government not functioning, things going to be hard on the country. And then what happened? But what Musa is saying, if for example this coalition come together, okay, and they decide to say, okay, Simon Freeman, the foreign ministry go to you or the finance ministry go to you, like what we have in the West here. Who inherit which ministry? What do you bring on the table? How are you going to move this forward? How are you going to improve this sector? That's what Musa Belete was saying. He was not only talking about only lawmakers. No.
No, but that's the point
Foreign
I'm
minister.
making. Now, that's what I just said. You get trying what I said. You elevating exactly what I said. That is not only the executive, but all sector. And he said it, all sector. That means the executive, the lawmakers, and the justice system, all sector, because the whole thing is damaged. And that's what you are referring to. And that's what I'm saying. You just said it. It's not only that we go to appoint law. No. He said the executive, we must pick the best. So foreign ministry, among us, who we think is the best.
And this has been a problem not just with this government alone. That I will also not put the blame on the Barker administration alone. It started from even the Ellen Johnson administration. So
not only Ellen Johnson, it's a systematic failure on Liberian part. That's why he's saying so it go way back. Not only one person
on Liberian part, but during the past time, historically from the Talbot administration, Liberia was a semi-industrial country from the Talbot administration, because you can list for the size of Liberia, and you list more than 30 some more companies in Liberia.
So that's not the point. So if you go back there, all of some of them that were not good because it was one group of people that had this thing going. It was not multi-party
system.
Paul,
then let us not confuse the topics now.
No, it will not, because you're bringing back the thing. I'm seeing what these guys are seeing. This is systematic problem Liberia have. We're looking at from the Civil War when it ended. For the past 20 years, we've been having inconsistency with leaders. And that's what they're referring to. So if we won't go back to history, then the other side have bad thing too, because they punish a lot of people. It was one group of people. So we can't go back to the past. But when 250 people die, what we call for we to have today, what we call democracy in Liberia. And it's not working.
250,000 people.
Yes, 250,000. Thank you. And based on that, the people can die for nothing, and we not moving anywhere. So this is what they are arguing. We try Ellie Flynn. We try George Weah. He became Booker dancer. We're not going anywhere. Now we get Joseph Boyka. No head, no tail. So let's put Liberia where Liberia belongs. Let make Liberia great again. Where Donald Trump said, let make America great again. Let's put Liberia first. Remember, Liberia was the champion for freedom of Africa. Liberia was the founding member of the United Nations. Liberia is nowhere. So let's bring our best minds to lead Liberia this time, instead of just putting someone there because the person popular or they spend 50 years instilling government. That's what they are talking, Brother Mark. So we're looking at the time factor here. We've got other issues. So that's what I want to expand. And this is quite interesting. So what I want us to talk, because our time will coming to, we'll soon be wrapping up, because we get other drugs, the drug issue and the Ebola issue, which I want us to take a few minutes to talk about before we close. But before we get there, I just want to say to our audience, for following us, drop your comments. say something so we can recognize you for the discussion. This is the audience with the Lord Choloply. So, Mark, I want us to take a quick break, and then when we come back, the question you asked were about 1%. I want you to elaborate on it. Why is it Unity Party people afraid of this 1%? I want you to elaborate. Let's take a short break, then I want you to flow. Welcome to the audience of the Lord Choloply. Today in the house with me is my dear brother and friend, a political analyst on this program, Brother Mark 5 from Sweden. He lives in the kingdom. You know, in Europe, we have the kingdom. United Kingdom is the king. Sweden, they also have a royal. So everywhere is kingdom. So kingdom upon kingdom. We are discussing Liberia. We are discussing opposition unity for the betterment of our country. But then one particular opposition leader that seems to carry more weight, I don't know why, but he has been classified as 1%. This guy with 1%, every time he speaks, the ruling government kind of jittery. They go for him, they call him all kind of names. So on Friday, we have something here, and we're going to put this up because there was a question. Unity Party, Cummings is the worst nightmare for Unity Party. This is because every time he speaks, Unity Party kind of they get out of that share. So, and I want you to elaborate on this, Mark. And I also want to call on the ANC people and Mr. Cummings himself. It seems to me that Unity Party is afraid of him more because every time he cough, they get funny. So I want Mr. Cummings to be more. Maybe every week he should lash on them and get them confused more. What say you, my dear brother? Talk about it 1%.
You know, one thing here is that I want to give to Mr. Cummings. It's not just one thing, right? But one of the blessings is that Mr. Cummings, he's not someone who is this kind of a charismatic, vocal, outburst person with the accomplishment that he has, right? Had it been so, then hell would have broken loose in Liberia. I can tell you that because there are a lot of things. Mr. Cummings had a voice like me, right? Or like Benena Ure, and with what he has accomplished. But he's a diplomat. He comes from a structured institution, okay, or he worked in a structured institution. So every time he speaks structurally, you understand. He composes himself not to stir up confusion and not to be divisive. So for that reason, and people with intellectual mind, you understand, they will know where Mr. Cummings is coming from and what he's talking about. So it troubles the Unity Partisan if they don't continue to in their own stupidity to think that they are bad morphing Mr. Cummings, that if he talks and they remains quiet and they don't pay their stupid surrogate to manipulate people or to influence people, then it's going to be problematic for them. Don't forget, they say 1%, he won't talk about increasing Liberian budget to 1.2 billion, right? Today, they increase the budget to 1.2 billion, but how much of that budget they put into education, they put into agriculture, they put into, how they call it, reconstruction, for example. Right in the capital, you see poop coming out of the soil land. You see, how they call it, stuff running when it rains. The whole capital is smell. You see dirt taking over the marketplaces where people go to buy their food, and the flies and things bring diseases, to the food that the market women sell. So the 1%, he's a thorn in the flesh. They call him 1%, but he's a thorn, he's a knife in the flesh, because every time he speaks to the issue. and they don't have the intellectual, or they could, okay, but they don't know how to get it done. And he know how to get it done. So for that reason, they fear him.
So I want us to conclude on this coming thing and move to the next one, and let's spend the
Mm-hmm.
next 10 minutes to comments in a CPP
Mm-hmm.
when the collaboration or the political parties came together. The
Mm-hmm.
momentum was great. Cummings became the first person to lead them. And just after he took over,
Successfully. Mm-hmm.
there was what the American would say May 10 election.
Election, yeah.
He was successful to give a lot of CPP senators in that race.
Yeah.
And then they took in a court and they wanted to kill his political career because they didn't have the goodwill of Liberia. This coming, I think now, Cummings understand the Liberia.
The CPP won
Yeah,
majority of the seats,
yeah,
honor Cummings, and they
yeah.
were in
Cummings,
debt. And Cummings, the one that paid the money for the
yes.
Unity Party for those other parties that couldn't put him in the pocket. Cummings
So
was the one that carried the
while
yeah,
drafting, I mark this
yeah.
is what I want to learn on this. Cummings, he could be quiet, gentle, but I think Cummings is a dangerous politician in the eyes of Unity Party. The reason why I'm saying dangerous politician, remember, they took in the court for prosecution in a collaboration, and Cummings understood what they did, and now Cummings now is calling. Georgia is calling, Musa Bilete is calling, Seymour Freeman is calling that they must unify to remove them. Isn't this is the reason why Unity Party know the capability of Cummings, and that's why when he talk, they shake because the unity that they calling for, they know what's going to happen. That it was Cummings that removed George Weah. It was not Joseph Barker. It was the CPP when he took over that
Yeah.
really did the damage to George Weah, and they know his capability.
A dime meaning they decide to go away after the
Yes.
work has been
All right.
done. Yeah, the
Thank you.
work was done already before they decide to break away at the dime meaning. The dime meaning. Then they put the conflict. One thing to contribute to this, then they decide to put the conflict within the, how they call it, said the former may his soul rest in peace, Ambassador Totman, Winston Totman party, they also add on to that because had it not been so, the CPP would have been successful even with or without the Unity Party. And the Unity Party, they dealt with Mr. Cummings, their leadership,
Oh,
dealt with Mr.
you talking
Cummings.
about Mr. Bronsky, Shining
Yeah,
Father.
thank you for that correction, Councillor Bronsky. So, and the leadership within the Unity Party, they dealt with Mr. Cummings, interacted with Mr. Cummings in a very, very close, I want to say proximity, or had a personal relationship, some of them, and they know his thoughts, you understand? Not 100%, but they know a lot of his thoughts, what his plan was for Liberia. So for that reason, hey, this man, he's somebody to fear when it comes to leadership. And Liberians supposed to start thinking that why is it that this man, okay, who did not win election, George Weah called him doing a run-up, 1%. But why would George Weah reach out to him if he had only 1%? Why would Joseph Barker driving and go to visit this 1% man and ask for the man to raise his hand if the man was not somebody important in Liberian politics? Most especially, always they call him 1%. But then go back, let retrospect. Why is it that the 1.2 billion that he was raising Liberia a budget to, today, the 1.2 billion they are dwelling on it. Now, he said the other time, I think a few time ago, that even they can surpass the 1.2 billion to another level. Now they are going around with this kind of no plan, no how they call it, to increase the Liberian budget. But how much is it going to be put into the infrastructure, the education, the health sector?
Thank you. So, to our audience, this is what we discuss the issue. We have it the way we see it, we discuss it, we have our own opinion on it, and we factor with our opinion. We always we put out, we look at it from a different political point of view and we analyze it the way we see it. So if you join us, please give us thumbs up. We can recognize you. And I see Flam. Oh, okay. Did I talk? Flam, Ricky is here following all, and I see Miss. I don't know this person. Mose Paid is also following us. And those of you who will recognize earlier, just drop your comments so we can follow. Mark, we have about 10 more minutes to go. And that 10 minutes, I want us to spend 5 minutes each on the drugs and the Ebola issue. This situation in Liberia concerning the drugs, 19 million worth of drugs that were exporting from Liberia, it was going. They can't find the person who was sending the drugs about, but we know that the logistic company say yes, they know who deliver it at their home. The government yet to bring somebody to put them in prison to investigate them where the drugs came from for it to be shipped out of Liberia. We get 5 minutes on this, brother Mark. Talk to me.
Yeah, the thing here is, if you had a serious government, right, or had I been the president and this thing happened, the first thing I'm going to fire the national security director or the police director. I have them all fired because you can have a country from the Georgia administration, $100 million drugs. Nobody went to prison, and none of these security directors or how they call it whatsoever were ever held accountable and to facing suspension or dismissal, because you cannot have a country in this quantity of drugs. We're not talking about 2 kilo or 1 kilo or 5 kilo. No, this volume of drugs coming into the country continuously is just the one that were biological that they caught. Okay, so just imagine the ones that have been coming to Liberia that they were not able to see or catch. You understand? So this tell you that the whole security apparatus is not working, and this is where the Liberian people should be disappointed.
So, but why the government can't arrest the person who took the drugs to the airport, the guy who shipped it, because he said he know who called him and brought the drugs? Why they can't arrest this person? That's the question.
Yeah, but Paul, this is why I'm saying the police director in the country is supposed to be questioned in the first place as a president. Why is it the person not under arrest? Okay, why is it the person not under arrest or under some sort of interrogation? The national security advisor to the president. Why is it drugs continue to come into the country and killing our youth? Okay, and nobody know how the drugs are coming into the country and how are they leaving the country. Okay, so these people in the security apparatus, they are failure, brother Paul. These people are supposed to go. You understand? The same thing, for example, there are names be circulating like the Jeremiah Kuhn and this current speaker, and then to this lady, what they call, how they call her name, her car was used, and that's a car that played the CCTV capture Mandela Cooper. Okay, so why can't they call these people for questioning? Why is it this police director they are so lenient on certain character that people suspect? Okay, why is it that people cannot be called? That tell you that people within the security apparatus, they know about these things. People within the government, they know what is going on, and they are afraid, because once you hold as the African man saying goes, or the Liberian man, once you pull the rope gonna hold bush. So for that reason, they cannot pull the rope. That's the answer to your question.
Okay, that's the answer to the question. So let's just close on the border issue. 4 months on, going to the fifth month, Guinea invaded Liberia. People say they encroached, but I say invasion because if you send your military to put flag on that invasion, Guinea invaded Liberia. 4 months on, we're going to the fifth month. The government said there's a silent diplomacy happening, but nobody knows how the diplomacy is working. But so in the next year or two, the map of the world will be either Google have a way they can draw the map. Liberia will be slashed. That bit is gone to Guinea. Have Joseph Boakai government sold our land to Guinea? What say you?
Yeah, for me, I would say that there's some sort of a payback going on. For example, that Guinea is mining whatsoever that Liberia was mining in a particular area, and I won't say Guinea will be brave enough to say they are taking that part of Liberia, because then it would be a conflict that, for example, it would be a boiling conflict that could spark our tension tomorrow if a new government comes and approach Guinea in a diplomatic way, and they don't want to. And depends if that new government also increase her security or military spending, and to see how best they can take back their country, either through diplomacy or
But let me
force.
hold there. How can you say Guinea is money and we don't have it because the government of Liberia stopped press from going to the border? So how do we know that the money if you don't allow
Yeah,
journalists to go in?
yeah, they're not allowing journalists to go in, but don't forget that there was this mining company that was operating in a particular area, and Guinea and Liberia had an agreement which I have not read before, and according to some other, I mean, media institution, for example, like the Front Page Africa and other institution that we depend on for news feeding, and they said there was this agreement between Liberia and Guinea, and which was violated by someone in I think a nephew and one Humane. They were into the mining, and which Guinea won Liberia on several occasions, but it was ignored. Under the WIA administration, that never occurred. But under the Boakai administration, once they took power, I think one Francis Humane, then they started to mine in that area. So now, if Guinea now, after taking over the area, if they know the value, because don't forget, Guinea is a rocky country that need a lot of sand. So if that area is a sand-rich territory, and Guinea want to carry on some infrastructure development into that particular area, or going all the way, they're going to take huge quantity of sand from that area that could have some other repercussion on both the Liberia and the
But they,
Guinea.
they, they, they can't do it, brother, because what they got, if the story is true that because people were mining, they seized the place to stop the mining, they cannot mine because that means two wrong cannot found right. So that means they have to get into negotiation. The government said they were negotiating. They were having silent diplomacy that we're not seeing. So if Guinea is sitting down, or what you seeing, if the money, then it's also wrong because if you say people are money, you invaded, then the people have the right to come and say, no, you can't do it.
Yeah,
Then it
but
becomes conflict.
but this is where the problem is, brother Paul. Don't forget that Guinea has what I call, can I say ex-military turned politician and then civilian in power. But no matter what you do to a leper, it will always be a leper. You understand? So
Absolutely.
and then looking at the military, Liberia is very vulnerable. It's a vulnerable country. Anybody who get brain up their head will know that Liberia is very vulnerable because of the security apparatus we have in the country. So
Okay.
make us to be vulnerable, and we cannot stand before even group of. I mean, I'm afraid for Liberia tomorrow. Group of men get together, even 2,000 men get together for you to subdue them. It would take a lot of muscle to be able to subdue them, and this is where that gave Guinea the courage. So if Liberia had a military force that is up to 20,000, Guinea won't be that brave to say, oh, yeah, they will cross the river into Liberia. But Guinea,
Okay.
no, they studied the situation for which they took advantage of the situation, Brother Paul. And
Okay.
until the international community, because only ECOWAS can come to our rescue. Our Baka local, you think your Baka, how they call it, had 20,000 manpower and has some tanks and stuff. Guinea won't be brave, even though Baka is old, but they won't be brave to take the action that they have taken. And how much have we put it into the cutting from other areas to put into the military? Up to now, nothing
Well,
to that.
bro, I
Yeah.
think the land was sold, and that would be my conclusion on the topic. Because if the land was not sold by now, we have seen ECOWAS in action, we have seen the Mano River Union in action, we have seen the AU in action, we have seen UN in action. Because none of these inst- uh, uh, institutions have not been called upon, the land was sold. That would be my
And
take,
this
and
and
we
this
will.
this and this and just for a few seconds, and this aspect was not raised also during the CDC celebration. Yeah.
No, that's why they said they noticed they say things about I think was race because one of the speakers said that. So they talk about it. So God, we have come to our the end of the show. Brother Mark, this was a good conversation. And I just want to say because of time factor, we will be here on Tuesday to continue this discussion on the border, on the opposition unity, and other trading issue in Liberia. So I want to say thank you, my dear brother, for this Sunday. It was a privilege having you again as a political pundit on this platform. Take just 1 minute, not 5 minutes, to just close up because of the time, please.
Yeah, even though we're not in the election season, but I want to encourage Liberian, like Web Musa, Belete, and Mr. Cummings and Simon Freeman, all these political leaders, they came together and said about moving the country forward. You should know as to why are you voting for someone to go into your first branch of government, and why are you voting for someone to become the president of your country? Do they have what it takes to serve you, because that person is your servant? You are not to serve them. Do not be loyal to anybody, but be loyal to your country. Be a nationalist, be a patriot, but never loyal to an individual, because it can bring corruption. And I want to thank our audience for being a part of the program, and to my brother, the Lord Choloply, the only Liberian to become law and honor by the current King Charles.
And a friend
Thank
of
you,
King
Brother Paul.
Charles.
A
Thank
friend
you
of
very
King
much.
Charles. Yeah.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. And to our audience, we want to say thanks for being with us and being with the audience tonight with the Lord Chilpe. We will be back here on Tuesday by His grace, and also on Friday at 8 o'clock UK time, 9 o'clock Central European time, and 7 o'clock Liberian time. You can also follow us on the Bottom Line Radio. If you look at the top of the screen, that local, you can download the app. It's 24/7 radio station that we have. You can follow the program also after this. So on that note, I want to say have a lovely week that is coming up, and we shall be here on Tuesday. Until then, we want to say good night and have a pleasant evening.